So CD Projekt Red announced that starting in 2022, they're going to start developing the next Witcher and Cyberpunk games. So
there's going to be another Cyberpunk?
Yeah, they said they're starting. I was surprised by that. I'm like, okay. So yeah. So Brett, what do you think about that, man? Since you popped up.
Congratulations on not going bankrupt. Thumbs up.
Oh shit.
I can't believe. Honestly, my reaction is you have the audacity to talk about Cyberpunk 2 now. You haven't finished the first one.
Yeah, they have not. But you know, Manny and I were talking about this. This is really telling the investors what they have going. Let's just be real here. You know.
Yeah, it's literally that's information that's not for us. That's more for the investors to be like, hey, we're still making things. But at the same time, it just the forward-facing part of it is just like, come on, guys, really? Do we really care at this point? Do we really care if there's going to be a Witcher 5 or a new Cyberpunk game? No, we want to hear is that we fixed all the shit that was broken on this thing, and now it's an actual working game. And hey, look, it just appeared on the PlayStation's 4 store.
Is it there?
No, it's not.
Their game isn't even allowed to be for sale on Sony, and they're talking about it. Like, even as an investor, that would worry me. I'd be like, wow, that is really poor planning. You're still getting all of this negative press from how bad your game is. You need to come back, and you need to work on your fundamentals and build your core audience again. Build your diehards, and they'll evangelize you against the rest of the people, which will help save your reputation and brand. You need to work on pleasing your customers right now. Because believe it or not, what people talk about to each other and on things like this podcast sometimes matter, right?
Also, like, let's just also be clear. Life of Black Tiger is on there.
It's still on PSN. That's right.
And that game is broken beyond compare, and yet that game didn't get pulled off. That's because nobody was buying it, and it didn't have a giant red flag on it and
it wasn't overhyped, you know.
Yeah. Who would invest in this right now? Like, I'm curious to hear Chris's thoughts because this even sounds like just a bad, straightforward business. Like, if I were looking at maybe like being like buying the dip on CD Projekt Red, right? Like, I was like, okay, well, the company's not doing so well. Now's a chance to get their stock super cheap because they're going to bounce back because fans love them and all that stuff. That would be one thing. That's to be told that you're like. Even as an investor, like, hey, come buy stocks. We're working on the sequel. Like, well, didn't you not finish the first one yet? Oh, no, it's not done. Well, aren't people still mad at you? Oh, yeah, real pissed. Aren't you not even allowed to be on sale on Sony yet? Oh, yeah, they took us off totally. Why the fuck?
All the negatives, man. Think of the positives. We just said we're gonna make some new shit. That should be enough.
It wasn't an April Fool's, right, Tony?
No, this was from earlier this week that this came out.
Okay.
Yeah, this report is from I want to say Tuesday. Came out on Tuesday, so before April Fool's.
We saw that one. It was a developer that talked about the patch, the big one that came out, and then they were asked, "It was like, well, when are you going to be back on the Sony store?" And he's like, "That's not up to us. It's up to Sony."
Yeah, it's not up to them. Yeah,
they said it's up to them. They said that they see the patches as well, so it's all depends. Like, one day it could be there. That's it, but they have no control over that.
So.
Like, shit.
So also, something that happened was also the CD Projekt Red went and bought a new studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the Canadian studio?
They bought that Canadian studio.
Interesting.
So, I severely hope that they're not going to be rolling off some part of it to someone else so they can work on something else.
It totally feels like somebody like we need to bring in some outside help to help us get this
fix this thing.
Yeah, and so why don't we just acquire some outside help?
They're like we're bleeding developers. Where are they all going? Let's get another studio.
Yeah. Well, everybody that knew what was going on left. Somebody buy a studio.
Yeah, yeah, a non-partisan, unbiased studio. Oh yeah, everything was fine. Nobody was unhappy.
Yeah, so right here. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that they could just use that as their excuse. It was like, wait, didn't you hear we just saw a new studio? All new people. They're going to fix everything.
They're going to fix it.
It's going to be butters.
It'd be great.
But yeah, they were just talking about how they're ready. They're also getting ready to upgrade their engine.
Oh.
By the way, they didn't say that that it's going to be Witcher 4 or Cyberpunk 2. They said the next installments in those franchises, they're going to start working on them simultaneously, and they're going to share development between both of them. So yeah.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like focus on one game first, bro.
Yeah,
you guys.
It's like we saw how the one game focus turned out. You know, maybe better.
So they literally hired this company to take on either one of those franchises.
I don't know about that. This report here doesn't mention that company.
But you said something about sharing or something.
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
gonna. The developers that are working inside of CD Projekt Red are gonna be going back and forth between the games.
Oh, come on! That is
Translation:
horrible.
These people can come in and help fix the Cyberpunk team.
That is
again, this specific thing doesn't mention that other studio.
That is a horrible idea.
Yeah, this is what I think they're doing. So, like Manny said, they buy this Canadian studio. They're going to dump off Cyberpunk 2077 on these guys. They're going to be like here's the bug report, here's the patches we're working on, here's everything, here's the assets, fix it, right? And they go forward, they do a split focus between the next Witcher, whatever that is, and then it seems like a bad idea. Don't do another Cyberpunk game yet, since you are now having to still fix the first one. I would say, hey, let that settle and just work on Witcher. Like, it should be a single focus. And and if you wanted to dabble or do a spin-off thing, like do something like Gwent that's small, that you could just throw out easily, and
that work out
really hard to
people play that?
I mean, it made money. People like that part of Witcher. There were people who were just playing Witcher 3 just to play Gwent, so they just spun it off into its own thing. Card games are popular, but it seems to be a really bad idea that you're going to do an A/B split with your developers and have them, because how do you focus on one thing? If I had to do modeling for Witcher doesn't look anything like Cyberpunk. So then it's like, all right, after this quarter, you jump on working on the city models. The fuck, like that's weird. I don't get that logic, and it seems to me that they're trying to appear like Cyberpunk didn't phase them, even though we know that it did, and we know there's lawsuits. We know there's the whole backlash. Sony won't even carry the game, so you can't just go, "Oh, we're still moving forward. We're gonna have all this stuff." You don't have the trust. Just saying that maybe makes a couple of investors happy that it's like, oh, okay, they're still moving forward with development and stuff. Who's gonna buy it? Who's gonna trust? Who's gonna pre-order? Who's going to get your numbers up the next time you try to pull shenanigans to get your quarterly numbers to look good? Nobody.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.